What's up, people? How you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of Jackson versus Jackson. Uh, this today we are talking about some good stuff. Uh, let's AJ, how you doing, brother? You want to say what's up to the people?
What's going on, everyone? Hey, I hope you're enjoying this podcast as much as we enjoy doing it. We try to have some interesting conversation about sports, but also other things that are involved in the pop culture and the politics. Anything that's hot, we deserve to have an opinion about it. Sometimes people don't think African American males should have an opinion, and African American males with status seem to get what should I say? I'm gonna use like Kyrie Irving as an example, stigmatized, um, to put it mildly, as the linchpin of things that goes on in this society. To tarnish African Americans' status, kind of knock them down a peg. And that goes all the way back to Michael Jordan when his father passed away. Oh, he was involved in illegal drugs and gambling. And that's what, you know what I'm saying? So there's always a way to try to knock down African American males. So I just wanted to start with that.
So, what do you want to talk about first, brother?
Well, I'm talking about my Cowboys, man. I mean, doing pretty good right now.
Are
I
they?
think I picked them to be 12-5. I think they're what, 10-3 right now, if I'm
No,
not
they
mistaken.
no, they ain't no 10-3.
9-3.
I think they are a game above. Well, you should have it pulled up, man. It's your Cowboys.
Yeah,
You should
I
have
I
the
lost
great.
track, man, because we got 2 wins in one week. So we won on Sunday and then we won on Turkey Day. So uh we still got a chance to win the division, right?
They are
And I
only
don't
eight
know,
and
we
three.
we huh?
I said they are only 8-3.
The
But
eight and
that's
three.
it's different. That's a decent record.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, 8-3 with what's that, 11? So 6 games left, right? And I picked what I picked. I said 10-5. No, I said 12-5.
Something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they got a chance.
Yeah.
And look, they beat the Giants, so they're gonna be ahead of the Giants. They beat them twice. So that means they're gonna be ahead of them. So they're in the second place. If they get Philly, then they have, then I think they'll have a closer even record. They got a chance still to win the division with a lot to play. They have an outside chance of winning the conference.
Let's not get cute. Yeah, I mean, because Philadelphia is leading the conference and the division. So you're right. If they can catch up to them, they can lead both. It's a big if. I mean, they are playing well, but Philly is playing very well. And it's just who you believe in. Jalen Hurts and all his weapons, or Dak Prescott and all his weapons. You know, but
I think the Cowboys are starting to mature at the right time.
okay.
When they lost to Green Bay, I said this is what my take was, that I said they needed to beat Green Bay. And when they didn't beat Green Bay, I know me, being a coach, and I know you, Jack, being a coach, right? When you
Hmm.
can't beat your arch rivals, and again, the Cowboys have never been the same since Des Bryant had that catch reversed. They called it a catch on the field, and then they went to a timeout and all this stuff, and then they
Well,
reversed it.
it's so many different players and coaches they done had since then. They should be able to get over it.
Right, but
So
what I'm
that's
saying
that's a
is,
lack of mental toughness, if
right,
you
what
ask
I'm
me.
saying is, Jack, I'm agreeing with you to an extent. They haven't done anything close to beating them, especially when it counts, since the Des Bryant catch, or no catch. And what I'm saying is, that's almost 10 years. So that was like, maybe 5 or 6 years, 7 years into Brett into
Yeah, so they've won two in a row. Congratulations to them. And we'll see if they can carry it on because I think that the schedule gets tougher. Let's look at a few scores. I'll look at a few. I don't know what you want to look at, but the Bengals and the Titans. I wanted to touch on that game simply because I had the Titans coming out of the AFC. Right, they're my underdogs. Everybody picking Kansas City. Nah, everybody picking Buffalo. But I picked the Titans. Right, they right there. They were 7-3. Uh, but the Bengals are on a roll, brother. They lost their first two games this year, and they've gone 7-2 since. Burrow playing lights out. They haven't had Jamar Chase for a lot of the season, and they've still been putting up points and beating people. And they beat Tennessee at home. Uh, where it was two evenly matched teams, and so that disappointed me. That put a damper on my pick. Uh, I don't know how I can still say that Tennessee can make it happen. They just need uh a little bit more because they shut Derrick Henry down. So in a playoff situation, that I feel like they could shut him down again. So the Bengals are trending upward. They're my trendy pick now. It was the Titans. The Bengals beat the Titans. I'm not picking Kansas City. I'm not picking Buffalo. So it's either Tennessee, the Bengals, or the Ravens for me to come out of the AFC.
The
And
Bengals, the Bengals,
mhm.
got to give them credit. They went to the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, they still I mean, they still a very young team, and to
Hmm.
to be a very young team and not being the what they used to call them the Bungles.
Right,
They're
right.
not the Bungles anymore. They got that the Bengals are tigers,
Yeah. Yeah, the Bengals are
a special tiger, right? And they playing
right.
like it, you
So
know.
so that brings me to my second game, the Ravens versus Jacksonville, right? Like I said, I had these three teams in my head: the Titans, the Bengals, and the Ravens to come out of the AFC, but I chose the Titans. Then they lost. All right. So this weekend the Ravens drop a critical game to Jacksonville, and which they were leading by double digits. Jacksonville came back and they went for two. They scored a last second touchdown, went for two, and won the damn
Hmm.
game. So uh that puts Jacksonville that puts the Ravens a notch below on my belt as well. So it's like right now I'm trending the Bengals, the Titans, and then Jacksonville, right? As far as my three, and they got like five more games to switch spots. But I'm looking at one of those three to come out of the AFC. Now, something that happened after the Ravens versus Jacksonville game, a fan tweeted Lamar Jackson, and Lamar just went at him, just using all kinds of expletives uh, to let him know that you know to that he's the quarterback to lead them. It was something about they shouldn't pay him the money, because whatever kind of season they having, and Lamar went at him, and it's a tweet that he quickly took down, but uh, I think that he'll get fined for that tweet. All right, let's move on
Well, wait,
to
wait, wait. Before we move on, because that's important. I didn't see it or whatever.
yeah, it was just a tweet.
Um, they're gonna franchise. They get two times to franchise him, right, Jack?
Yeah, yeah, I think they'll give him a contract. I think they will.
They
But
might
you're right. They
franchise.
have they
They
have
might
they can
franchise him
franchise him
one more
twice in a row.
time, bro. They get two times to franchise, and they
Well, they haven't.
franchise him once, right?
He's no, he's not under franchise. This is last year of his contract. So he's
Okay.
he's a lame duck guy, and he betting on himself because they offered him some bullshit in the summer that he didn't take, and I wouldn't have took either. So he's betting on himself, and he started off really, really well. They're sort of faltering here midway through. If they can pick it back up and make a run in the playoffs, he'll be in prime position to get at least most of the money that he's asking for.
Yeah, why? I wonder why, man. Tell me, you know, what angle I gotta go, bro. I'm just gonna say why. Why we gotta prove ourselves twice as much as some of these other clowns, bro, and they get the money, right?
Hey man,
I remember. Let me tell you this. I
because some
remember.
franchises are ignorant. The Cleveland is not very smart for what they gave Deshaun. They're not, and you know,
Well, I'm not even talking about the specifics.
well,
I'm just saying that, you know, some fan comes out and says he ain't worth the money and he runs his mouth. Now, Jackson has to be a little bit more disciplined to respond to that, and with expletives and all of that, if that's what you're saying that happened. But, you know, it's really, it's just something, man. That got his money. It was all that fear. I remember, look, I remember when all these pitchers who are mostly non-melanin pitchers
mm-hmm.
was getting these big contracts. And remember those quarterbacks, bro, was getting 50 million, right? All the way up until the time that Cam Newton, he was going to be the number one pick. And then they changed the rules right before his draft, right? And people say, oh, conspiracy theory, Jackson. That's what they were telling me. I said, bro, but it's a fact. They changed it when the number one pick was going to be an African American.
Well,
That's a fact.
I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, so I will say this: Michael Vick was the number one pick during an era where you can get as much as you could get as a number one pick, and he got his money.
But
And
that was
then, and then after Cam, it's been all white dudes that have been
right.
number
And
one
that's what I'm
picks.
saying, right?
That's been number one picks, and that have not benefited from that rule
Right.
change. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
well, my point is that they changed the whole rule after, like you said, Michael Vick got his cash. He was definitely when he came out, he definitely was the number one player in college football. No question, hands down.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Especially somebody that got the ball that can make things happen. He was the number one pick. But then after that, like you said, it was probably 7 or 8 picks after him, and more than half of them were busts.
Yeah,
Then when
yeah.
they got ready to knew Cam Newton was going to be the number one pick, bro, they changed the rules. Nobody can deny that. Those are
Already,
facts.
already. You know, let's transition into college football, which I love. Love me some college football. Let's talk about the game of the weekend, the game of the year. Let's talk about them Aggies. Now, let me set it up. So
You talking about Station College?
LSU beat the Aggies last year, the last game of the season, with Max Johnson, who then transferred to A&M, and you know, to be our quarterback. He didn't get the starting nod at the beginning of the season. Ended up getting the job after our starter got hurt. Then he got hurt. So we go into the LSU game with our third quarterback of the year, true freshman, Connor Weigman. And he has been starting. He started a couple games already, and uh, he's been up and down, man. He hasn't looked great. He's been uh, good in spots, but he has the tools. He has natural athletic ability, all of that. We knew that. But what we saw against LSU was a game plan uh, that that we wanted to do the entire year. We just weren't really able to, simply because there was a lot of injuries on the O line, and you know, shuffling different quarterbacks in, you know, every few weeks trying to see what works. But what we saw against LSU is probably going to be what all of college football is going to get a taste of next year. We ran for uh, 300 yards. Uh, Connor Weigman managed the game. He made really good throws at times to move the chains. He moved the chains with his feet, and we rolled a running back. We rolled uh Devon Chain uh to over 200 yards. He had 38 carries. If you know anything, 38 carries for one running back that's like two
That's two
games worth.
games.
That's two
Yep.
games worth in one game. Absolutely. And yet uh he did that all in one. And he missed the previous two games with an injured ankle. He had a boot on his foot the last two games. So if anything, you would have thought he'd got less carries. All right. No, he got and let me just get his totals straight. 38 carries, 215 yards, two touchdowns. So we totaled 265. 265 total yards rushing, and that's what we want to do. That's what we've been wanting to do all year, And that 200 yards got a chain over 1,000 for the season.
Let me tell you about the Aggies, right? Because I know that's your pride and joy.
And we whooped them 38-23. Game
Right.
wasn't even close,
Well,
never close. They were 9-2 and number 5 in the country,
right. Let
and
me tell
and
you
and
about
A&M was 3-7, 3-8, and barely, and that's what we did.
well
Gig
what
'em,
that
baby.
what that did is that Jimbo has the ability to say, well, we didn't quit. That's what this team didn't quit. All those cliches and stuff. But let me tell you about the Aggies.
They never
Let
quit
me tell
before
you,
this
wait a
game.
minute, Jack. Let me get in here, right? Because
They never quit.
you praising them.
But they never quit.
What I'm saying is that
Don't say they quit.
whenever I've been here 26 years and I've watched the Aggies. Whenever they are supposed to challenge for the national championship, man, they turn out to be flatter than a pancake.
So the years that they did challenge, they weren't
Is when they
supposed to.
didn't have the expectations
Okay, well, I
of
mean that
winning a
happens,
national
bro. That
championship.
happens.
Right. But I'm saying, Jack, I'm saying from my perspective, right? They were supposed to be all this and that. They talked about the Aggies all year. They got even some national pub. And I'm gonna tell you this, Jack. I'm gonna tell you this, right? And I'm being objective because I'm not an Aggie fan, right? I like to see the Texas teams do well because that's where I live now. But what I'm saying is two things that I have a problem with the Aggies, right? And it's not all their fault. One, like I just said, whenever they get put up there for that, what was it, Slocum? When Slocum was a coach, and they had them dynamite defenses, and they had some really good athletes, and they were supposed to challenge for the national championship. They always got beat by somebody. Texas was one, but not totally Texas. They got beat by some teams that
Man,
knocked them out with
RC ran through Texas
expectations.
like
And the
8 years in
second
a
thing
row.
is that with them not playing Texas, they played Texas almost 100 years. And because they left the conference and not playing Texas, that's a shame. And I'm not, again, that's not totally their situation, but they should always play Texas, man.
So the thing with everyone seems to think that since they got the number one recruiting class of all time this year, that equated to a roster of mean, uh uh older, have experienced kids that can compete for a title.
Jack,
No,
Jack,
man.
no, I'm
Every
not gonna let you get away with that,
everyone no,
bro. I'm
but
not
that's
gonna let
all
you
the
get away
news.
with that
I'm not getting away with nothing.
because you was cockadoodle doodling too.
No,
You was drinking the
listen.
Kool-Aid, bro. You was drinking
Hey,
Kool-Aid out of two straws.
the
And
Kool-Aid
you know you
is
was doing that, bro. You was my Aggies,
no
man. My
every.
Aggies. And then
Oh
they got
no,
beat by Appalachian State.
this is the thing. I never said they were going to lose the Appalachian State. I ain't gonna back down from that. But no, the hype was that they gonna make
Right.
a
And that's what
serious
I'm
run
saying.
at a
Every
national
time,
title this year.
since
No, I
I've been
did
in
not.
Texas for 26
20
years.
2023 is when that's gonna happen, and it's still gonna happen.
Man.
You gotta let these babies grow up. You can't say, "Well, y'all got the #1 recruiting class. Y'all got to do it this year." No,
Alabama, look,
hey,
Alabama,
that's them.
right.
They they've
And what
been
I'm saying to
they've
you,
been
every
having
Jack, I'm
that
telling
depth.
you like this, every time
It's
that
no. This is you
twice out of a
tell
decade,
me
they
when.
supposed to do all this and
When?
that, and they get a flat top. They got a flat.
No.
They be put on flats, bro.
A&M is not ever picked to win anything. First of all,
Bro, they was
we're
picked to go.
always
They was
we're
supposed to be. They was
always
picked to be top. Bro, they was this year. They was picked to be in the top four, bro. It was set all up, and then Appalachian,
we
man,
weren't set up.
Appalachian State beat
We
them
it
at
had to be a lot of
home.
losses. It had to be a lot of losses, but that's not what I'm saying. Hey, this season is what it is. But guess what? We beat LSU. We kicked that butt. LSU was primed to go to the big dance, the
Not like
CFP.
no,
We
no,
kicked that
no,
butt. They were
no,
number
no,
five.
not
Yes,
like
yes, yes.
no,
Yes, yes,
no,
yes. They were
no,
number
not this
five.
year.
They
They
were
were
number
supposed to.
five, bro.
No, they was. I
They
tell you, like
were.
a few years. Let me tell you this. A
No,
few. No,
no,
no, Jack.
you don't know what
No,
I'm saying.
Jack. I,
Listen,
I hear
no,
what you're
you
saying, but
don't. They
I
were number
disagree with
five in
you.
the country.
I disagree with you.
No,
The
it's right
year that
here.
LSU was supposed to win it, like
No,
2 or 3 years ago,
no, I'm talking about this year.
Booger McFarland
No, we're not
and all
talking
them
about
guys,
that. We're talking about
they ended up
now,
winning
man.
it about 3 years ago.
Hey, LSU, number five. If they'd have beat us, they'd be in the college playoff. That's what I'm talking about.
But they
We
didn't
kicked
have
them
the
out.
hype.
Hey, it ain't
They're
about the
another
hype.
school,
No, I'm
bro.
talking about they were number five, and we
Bro,
whooped that
at the
butt.
beginning of the season, at the
No, ain't
beginning of
no
the
beginning. It's
season,
the end of the season.
at the beginning of the
But that
season,
don't matter no more.
they proved it. That's what
That
I'm
don't
saying.
matter. They lost to us. That's what
So,
they proved.
all I know
That's
is
what we proved.
y'all didn't meet expectations this
Hey,
year.
but I didn't say we did. So now I didn't say we did. Don't give me that.
I'm
Now
giving it
moving
to you,
on.
bro. I'm giving it
Moving
to you.
on.
You said, bro, they had top. There was top five all season long, all in the polls. They was gonna do this and
So
that, and they
mo-
got beat by Appalachian
moving on.
State.
But we beat number five in the country. Moving on. Michigan.
So
So I'm
you
talking about
saved a few
this.
jobs.
Michigan. No, we didn't say no job. Our jobs are gonna be secure no matter what.
So
Michigan
no, so nobody's
beats
getting
Ohio
fired.
State.
Texas A&M is not gonna get nobody on Texas A&M gonna
Michigan,
get fired.
we're gonna the head coach is gonna be there. What are you talking about?
I'm not talking about the head coach. He
But
gonna be
this
there. He
is what
got
I'm
the money.
talking about.
Who they
No,
gonna fire? Who they gonna fire? Who they gonna fire? Jack?
listen, we'll get into that because some things are happening already. But it's stuff
Bro,
that
y'all
we're
not
going to
even going to a
happen
bowl game, bro.
for 2 years in
Y'all
a
ain't,
row. This ain't the
bro.
first.
Y'all not even going to the toilet bowl.
Hey, why are you right? Why are you not listening? First of all, you gotta listen. Second of all, we moving on, right? We beat
They going
LSU.
to
That's what I
they,
wanted to get
bro. The
into.
only bowl game they going to is the Tiny Bowl game, bro.
LSU was our bowl game, and we whooped that
Yeah,
ass.
yeah,
We
yeah.
won our
Okay.
bowl game. Yeah, yeah. Giggle.
You
Hey, so
you're a
let's move
waffler.
on. Let's move
You
on.
a waffler, bro. Let me
Hey,
get you some
let's move
syrup.
on. Let's move on. Stop. Uh, Michigan, number three, beats number two Ohio State. Not only beats them, crushes them.
Yeah,
You know,
I saw most of the game.
Ohio State had the quarterback that I think that the Texans should draft, right? In CJ Stroud. And they made him look like something that he's they made him look less than what he is. Uh so
Rice cakes, like rice cakes, bro.
man, uh but I'll give it to Harbaugh. Harbaugh is somebody that they wanted to run out of town 2 years ago.
And
He's turned it
and
around. This will
and the media always talking trash about his khakis and that he's eccentric and
well
all of that.
they haven't done that the past 2 years.
Oh, he made
Before
he's
these
made
2 years, they
he's made
definitely talked about
he's
that.
made them eat he's made them eat that crow though.
He's been doing very well, man, and it starts with that defense, boy. He
But you
fixed
know
it,
what though, Jack? Let
you
me
know.
ask you this: and you're a football guy like me, right? I know they think that the third year a team should turn over, right? But especially now when people the NIL and people can leave, you can't hold them, and they can't have to sit out where they go.
Uh-huh.
You got to try to keep your players, right? If they don't go to the NFL, you got to try to keep the players that you drafted. And a lot of those guys, man, they ain't playing. They take off. They go somewhere else.
Which
So I
which
think
is well within their right. They
no,
should.
no, no, Jack. I'm not. That's not my argument. What I'm
I know,
saying is
I know. I'm just
that
saying
makes
it.
it even.
Yeah,
That means that they really should have a little bit more time. And if you look at that
yeah,
from that perspective, Harbaugh is right where he's supposed to be.
yeah. But
Because it used to be the old rule, right? If you leave and you go and you don't and you stay at your level, you got to sit out a year.
well,
Now guys can go when they want, which is cool.
mm-hmm,
But shoot, your backup guys might say, "Man, I should be playing."
yeah.
And now they
And
say, "Look, the
they
guy in
say
front
they'll
of me."
play somewhere else, and
Right.
they're gonna go.
Exactly. And so now that so what I'm saying is you almost got to, they say give them 3 or 4 years. Now you
Mm-hmm.
almost got to give them what, 6 years, right? Something like that. Got to double that three. They say people
Nah,
tell.
nah, you don't do that.
No, but I'm
You just
saying
gotta
though,
make the portal work for you.
I agree with that. But normally, Jack, you usually lose more than what you get.
And you just gotta get the right ones.
I agree
That's
with
what it's
you, but I'm
about.
saying
Absolutely.
it's not like basketball. You can get 1 or 2 players in basketball and could change your whole dynamic. You got
That's
to have
all.
more than you got to
That's
have
all.
more.
That's all the portal is for. The portal is not to be your entire recruiting class. The portal is just got to be to accentuate what you've already built or
Right.
signed in recruiting.
But what I'm
And,
saying, Jack, is that if you got good depth, then you got a chance. But most times, more people leave than you get. That's
mhm.
all I'm saying.
Yeah, but everybody's dealing with it, right? It's not just one team. So yeah, so it still makes it parity. It's level across the playing field to me. And the other game I wanted to mention, USC number 6, they defeated number 15 Notre Dame. USC has a receiver, number 16, Taj Washington. His mom was my neighbor growing up, all my life. His dad
And
was my
Marshall,
yeah. His dad was my high school teammate, and his dad played at Sam Houston against me when I played at SFA. His dad, Chris Washington, mom, Shannon Kirkendall. Taj Washington. He scored a big touchdown in the game against Notre Dame. He's a transfer from Memphis. He went to Memphis out of Marshall, and then he went into the portal and he chose USC. And this is his second year up there. He's a junior, so he's got one more year. And
what's
he's
his
doing
what's his dimensions, man? He's a receiver. How tall is he? How much he weigh?
six
What kind
foot,
of
175 maybe.
Oh, okay. So he's like
Yeah,
is it more like a slot receiver or
he's a slot. Yes,
okay.
he's a slot, but he's strong and he's a good slot. Yes. So let's talk about the college football playoff, man. So the 4 teams that they have, uh, Georgia, Michigan, TCU, USC. How do you feel about those 4 teams?
Well, as of right now, they earned it.
Mm-hmm.
TCU is undefeated, right?
Mm-hmm. Only one of the 4 that's undefeated.
Yeah. But they won't get the number 1 spot. They ain't gonna do that to them. They're not gonna give them that.
No, no, yeah, it's not about number 1. So number 1 will play number 4, and number 2 will play number 3, and then the winner of those will play each other for the championship.
Excuse me, TCU is number 3
3.
right now.
So they're in line to play Michigan in whatever bowl game for the semifinal
That'd be
game.
that'd be interesting. That'd be
Very,
interesting.
very
You know
interesting.
why? Because Michigan is ground and pound you out,
Mm-hmm.
and TSU is
TCU.
big. TCU, I'm sorry, TCU is big play
Mm-hmm.
finesse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They are. They have a nice running game, but yeah, their running style is different than Michigan's running style. But they both have really, really good defenses, and so that's going to be interesting for me to see. Can TCU shut down Michigan's offense? Can Michigan's defense shut down TCU's offense? You know, and then USC playing Georgia because Georgia. Uh, did I say TC? Who did Georgia lose to? Do you remember? Did I say I want to say I looked at it and Georgia had a loss. Can't remember who the hell they lost to
They
though.
beat Tennessee though. Didn't they beat Tennessee? Because
Yeah, no,
Tennessee.
Georgia is undefeated. So Georgia and
Okay.
TCU are undefeated. My bad. Michigan and USC have one loss.
Okay.
So yeah, Georgia is like everybody's pick to win this thing to repeat. And uh, you know, I see Michigan maybe being able to compete with them. I'm not sure I see TCU or USC being able to compete with Georgia.
Well, right now, right? Wouldn't it be in the semifinal game, Georgia against USC?
Uh-huh.
I'd like to watch that game.
No, I'd love to watch it. I just don't think USC would come within a couple of scores. But I could be wrong, absolutely. Because Lincoln Riley, no, because remember what did I say last time we was on here? That I think the Texans will draft or should draft Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, but I love Caleb Williams more than both of them. And he's USC's quarterback. The boy is bad.
So he's eligible, but he's only a junior, right?
No, he's not eligible. He's a sophomore.
Oh, he's a sophomore. Yeah, you did
Yeah.
tell me that. Okay.
Yeah. So
So
he
he got
has
to
to
come
go
back
one
one
more
more
year.
year. So he's not eligible. So they wouldn't.
Hmm.
It's a no brainer.
Yeah, yeah. This quarterback class has two, maybe even three quarterbacks that are prime for the taking. And we should take one. I don't think we'll do Davis Mills another year. Because then if we did, we may improve too much. We may not even be able to get Caleb Williams. So we'll just take who we can get and
They
roll
got to
with it
go after. They got to go after the best quarterback
in this year.
in
Hmm.
the draft. Yeah, they
Hmm.
have to.
Hmm.
Can't wait for next year. Something can happen, and you got to go get this year. They got the
Yeah,
number one pick as of now. Looks like they're going to solidify that. They need to go get them a quarterback.
yeah, 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 definitely. All right, brother. Let's move on. HBCUs, man. Uh how's your alma mater doing?
Doing great. They won the MEAC uh, championship. That's one of the major black college or HBCU conferences, along with the SWAC.
They have a
So,
championship game or they just win by record?
uh, just regular season championship.
Okay.
And so, actually, what happened was they got beat by South Carolina State, which is in Orangeburg, South Carolina. But Central beat Howard for homecoming. I was there 50-21, and South Carolina State ended up losing two games, which put
Hmm.
Central in the championship game of the what they call a Celebration Bowl, which will go in effect December 17th at
Okay.
the in Atlanta, the ATL. December 17th, it's a Saturday at 12 noon kickoff, where the Atlanta Falcons play, which is the Mercedes Benz Stadium. And so they'll
Right.
play the winner or the champion of the SWAC.
Yeah.
And
And I
but
think
like but like you and I was talking about,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
there might be some complications behind that because
Well, in the interview that I saw today, it looked like Deion Sanders was saying that they were preparing for the Celebration Bowl. So
okay,
he may have decided to go that route.
okay,
Yeah.
well that's good.
Hmm.
That would be very interesting. I think that's a good decision from where I sit because he's representing HBCUs,
Yep.
and nobody would really criticize much. They're always gonna get some criticism if he
Hmm.
decided not to play uh, for the Celebration Bowl championship
Yep.
and go into the FCS playoffs
Yeah.
because he's ranked high, which you so eloquently put that scenario together. Tell our viewers um, how they may have had a choice.
Yeah. So they are an FCS team, and uh, the FCS I think has generally given uh, black schools or HBCUs a choice of if they would want to go into the FCS playoffs versus playing in a bowl game at the end of their seasons. Uh, Generally, the FCS takes the top 16 teams. They had for the longest. I don't know if they've expanded it since then, but it's generally the top 16 teams into their playoff format. And most HBCUs that I haven't really fallen into the top 16 or 20, so it really hadn't been an issue. But occasionally there'll be really good teams, and they'll have that choice. And most all the time, I I make Grambling may have played in the playoff a few times, but I don't remember any black schools really playing in the playoffs or advancing far enough to challenge for the national title. So they
Well,
usually get a lot of money.
I would probably say North Carolina A&T has been there.
They've
But
played in the playoff.
yeah, I think they have a few
Okay,
times
okay.
because they were ranked pretty high. They had that running back that plays for Chicago Bears. He got drafted in the like the fourth round.
Okay.
They were very, very good around that time.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Yep. Yep.
so like you said, it's been a few times
Hmm.
that the HBCU team has been undefeated or
Yeah.
had a really good record, like Jackson State has done with uh, the
Yeah.
SWAC teams. And I
Yeah.
expect um, it should be a couple of teams that's probably going to be in that ranking because of Deion.
Yeah.
Because of
Possibly.
Deion saying that, hey, these guys can play.
Yeah.
I think we do discount uh, black college players
So
and just say, oh, they don't play this or that.
So this is what I believe should happen, and they can do it or they can't do it. But I believe that you're right because voters vote on this stuff, and it matters. You really gotta uh, gear your schedule towards that. So if you want to be seen as that or play that, you want to play those teams that are that, and I think that'll help them out a lot. Just play the teams, play the McNeese States, the Sam Houston's, you know what I'm saying, the SFAs,
Yeah, it's
play.
hard to do that. It's hard to do that from a conference standpoint. I mean, you're gonna play, you're gonna play your rivals. Like North Carolina Central and A&T were rivals for years.
No,
And
I
when
mean, I,
and when I'm just giving an example. North
yeah,
Carolina A&T was FCS 1AA when Central was Division two CIAA, but they
yeah.
still played. I think they might have had a break, maybe a year or two when they were in different conferences, but they schedule that game every year
I don't know
for the
how
most part.
I don't know how
Huh?
they would do it. I just know that that's what needs to happen if they want to
No,
go
no,
that
no, no.
route.
I hear you, but I'm saying that like with like for instance, Texas A&M and Texas, everybody wants that game to be played. But
It was
you know,
always played because they were always in the same conference.
right. But the
You
people
know,
still people still want
well,
that
it's got
championship
to.
in
I
Texas.
hear you. It's got to be feasible. It matters because they played it so long, but they've only played it so long because it's in the same conference.
Well, look, who does A&T? I mean, I'm sorry, Texas A&M played Appalachian State, so they might as well play Texas in that spot.
Texas may not have room. You know what I'm saying? Like they schedule like years in advance. So when they were talking about trying to play Texas, and them couldn't because they had already scheduled out to like 2028 or something like that, and Texas had too. Now they may because they're gonna be in the same conference. That's the deal.
Well, they'll be in the same conference next year, right?
Or the year after.
Will you
UT,
have to?
and OU gotta pay that buyout if they want to get in before 2026, and that's a big buyout. Hey, let's go on to some college news, man. College football news. It's some hirings, firings that type of thing. Uh, so the first bit of news. Uh, so you guys may know Auburn had Brian Harrison or Harson as their head coach. I think the last 4 years maybe. He had came out of Boise State. He was a hot commodity. He hadn't done anything at Auburn. Auburn, it felt like it was a bad mix from jump. They didn't like each other, and it's been a bad mix the last 4 years. They finally fired him, so they just picked up a hire, and the guy that they hired, he comes with a lot of baggage, so you know you can take it what it's worth. But they hired Hugh Freeze, man. What do you think about that? Liberty's Hugh Freeze.
Tired of seeing these guys being recycled and getting all this money and not giving other opportunities to guys that get the same
Yeah,
old boys network.
and he has baggage. It's not like he's crystal clean.
Well, speak on him, bro. Speak on what a couple things that he's done that's been proven in the news.
So he used to be the head coach at Ole Miss,
Yes, I do
and
remember that.
he was fired from there for recruiting violations and just uh running a dirty program. And
So you can be a dirty program runner and you get a second chance. Whereas you got guys like Deion up and coming. Now he didn't want that job, but I'm saying, so there's no other people that you can go after. You got to still go after the same old cronies and put them in there, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, Brian, like, so where's the respect factor, or what are we teaching young people? What are we teaching them, right?
Uh,
Crime doesn't pay, but if you a part of the good old boys network, you're not going to be convicted, and they're going to give you a second and third chance.
I don't know, man. I would like to think that brothers that have gotten those type of situations would be given second chances. I get
But they
upset.
don't.
I get upset when they
But
get.
they don't. They
I
don't
get
even
a.
get a first chance in a
I
spot like that.
I get upset. I know that, and that's a different discussion. But I get upset when they get third and fourth and fifth chances. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I really get upset about. And Freeze's first big time job was Ole Miss. Got fired, went to high school, went back to Liberty, which is a smaller D1, independent D1, not big time at all, but they are D1. And now he's back in the big time. So it's like a second chance, but uh Auburn's taking a chance. Auburn is taking a chance, but maybe they've done their due diligence, or maybe he's learned some things while at Liberty. But yeah, I mean, I get your point. Next up, man. So this was the video that I saw regarding Deion Sanders and what he said. So the reporter asked Deion, so is it true that Colorado, the University of Colorado, offered you their head job? And if they did, are you going to take it? He was like, yeah, it's true. Deion said, I ain't got, you know, no qualms about nothing. It's absolutely true. He was like, not only is that true, but more teams than just that can offer me their jobs. He said, but listen, I'm here for these kids, and I'm focused on being dominant in my current role. I'm focused on being dominant. And he mentioned the Celebration Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So he's focused on being dominant against NCCU in the Celebration Bowl. And I like that. He's not saying he ain't going to take, or he's not going to look at offers after that, right? But he said right now he's focused on being dominant. So then the reporter was like, so is it, so how is all of this attention that you're getting from all these schools, how is this affecting you or your program? The boy started laughing. He said, man, Deion, the coolest brother. Deion said, man, I've been primed for a long time. He said, this attention ain't nothing to me. He said, I've been getting attention since I was knee high to a butterfly. So that's when he went into, his
That's a
coach
true
speak.
statement.
And
I mean,
absolutely, that's what makes it funny. Is absolutely the truth.
yeah, I mean,
You know,
he's speaking the truth, Brian. Like
yeah,
ever since he stepped on Florida State's campus, he was electrifying, and he took
Yeah,
it to the NFL. He took it to
yeah,
the baseball diamond.
yeah.
He took it to the center field. He took it to the World Series. He
So
took it to the
yeah,
Super Bowl. He took it to the Pro Bowl.
so he know how to handle any type of attention, but
Yeah,
but
he's a great
what
one.
whether he accepts another job or not, he's done more for HBCUs than they could have ever hoped for when he got that job. So if he gets another job, they should congratulate him and wish him well. I know it's gonna be haters though, because that's
Oh, as
just how
always,
people
yeah,
are.
always. I think that going to the Celebration Bowl is the right move for Deion,
Hmm.
Coach Deion, and the Jackson State Tigers,
Hmm.
because that's where he cut his teeth at. As a Division I coach, when they say, "Oh, he don't have any experience," "Oh, he not gonna do this," "Oh, he not gonna," they want to see a guy like Deion fail, right?
Right.
They want to see him fail,
So
and you
so my
know,
my issue with him taking another job, and I know I never thought he'd be an Eddie Robinson and be at Jackson State for 40 years or 30 until he retired. I never thought that. But I feel like the man has he's like the man, the myth, and the legend. Like he's built such a legend around himself that if he goes to another school and doesn't do as well, or what if he flops? What if he doesn't do nearly as well? How much will that take away from him as a man, as a coach? You
oh,
know,
it ain't gonna take nothing away from him as a man. Dion is
I
very
understand
comfortable in his
that,
skin,
right?
but I,
But
but I,
but
but I will
I'm
say
just
this,
saying that
but
it
that
should
will
take
give
some of
that.
the mystique away from him for sure. A
No,
lot of it.
not really.
If you
No,
if yes, I'm
no.
just saying like his mystique is that the brother just he everything he touched turned to gold.
Yeah, Dion, but
What
that
if it
but those are
doesn't?
but those are opinions and hypotheticals even at
No,
this
no, it's
point.
not.
What I'm saying,
Everything he
no,
touched turned to gold.
what I'm saying to you is him not doing well at the next job that he takes. That's what they said about this job, and he did well. So
Yeah.
he's not
What
going
if
to
he
go.
don't? Is what we're
Jack,
saying.
I'm saying those are hypotheticals. Right now,
That's
they're
right.
hypotheticals.
Absolutely. That's
Right.
my issue with him taking another job. It's
Jackson,
hypothetical, but it's an
Jackson,
issue.
at some point, he's going to leave Jackson State. But I think he's probably going to stay there long enough for his sons to transition into the NFL. Then I think he might leave if the right job is there for him. To be honest with you, and I told you this before, Auburn is not a good job, man. I mean, it's in the SEC and all that. I mean, if Hugh
So
Freeze
it's a
can
good
get them,
job. I mean, any
nah,
SEC job is a good job. Now, is it
no,
better than
Vanderbilt ain't
good?
no Vanderbilt is not a good job.
I would disagree. I think Vanderbilt is like a sleeping giant, bro. Vanderbilt can be another.
Bro, let me tell you this, bro.
Vanderbilt is a
Bro, you
very good
come
job.
on, man. Come on, bro. Vanderbilt, let me tell you this. To me, right? And they in there because they got Vanderbilt got money, the Vanderbilt empire. So it's no big deal for them, right? But I would like to see Vanderbilt play like Duke and Stanford, kind of like this a league where the academics and that type of tradition. I would love there be a conference like that. I mean, it's not going to happen because ACC got all that money that got to be shared, and same thing with
There is a there,
Vanderbilt. But I'm saying that's the type of schools.
there
No,
is
I'm
a
just saying.
conference like that already.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
talking about.
called the Ivy League.
No, I'm not talking about that.
I mean,
What I'm
that's what you're
saying is
saying.
that those guys are already playing in like a nice conference in terms of ACC and Pac-10 and like that. But those are these schools who you have to have all this academic success also
Absolutely.
to play.
That doesn't make them less than good, though.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that.
You
I said I
said it's
would
not
like.
a good job. It is. Shit, Vanderbilt is a very good job, and I ain't saying it's a great job, right? Because then you got to compare what's great, but it's a good job.
Bro, those are the jobs that they give to black. Those are the jobs they give to black people, right?
Well, a
Because the
black,
fact that the schools all messed up, can't compete, can't recruit in those schools. When the
I
last time
mean,
Vanderbilt? I think Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt got white coaches too.
No, but Jack, see here. What I'm saying to you is this, and same thing in the NFL, right? Lovie Smith got this job with the Texans,
Man, we
right?
ain't talking
He
about the
deserved it.
NFL. We
He
talking about
deserved the
college,
opportunity,
man. We
bro.
now we going on a tangent. Let's stick with college. We done went to the
I'm
NFL
just giving
already.
an example. I can give an example. These guys will give opportunity to because of whatever reason they're the owners, right? And then some of them will give an opportunity to minorities when these teams are at their worst. I think if I'm not mistaken, don't forget, and we'll go back to college. The coach at Penn State, right? Where did he cut his teeth? He was at Vanderbilt. And he built the program enough that now he's at Penn State.
But what is Penn State? It's the same damn thing. It's a private school. It's an academic institution, but it's
Penn
been
State is
built
not
up.
private.
You're right. It's not private,
No,
but
it's not private.
it's an
I mean,
it's been
but what I'm
built
saying
up.
is he had to cut his teeth at a school, right? He was up and coming. He was up and coming, but he had to go to a school where he had to try to win. He did pretty good there. I mean, what he had, they went to a bowl game a couple times
They went
with
to good
him, and he got
bowls.
some guys to come down there and play.
All right.
They got
So
to a bowl game.
so let's finish this college news, man. So we can get up out of here. Uh the next thing I wanted to mention, uh Texas A&M, their offensive coordinator is stepping down, being relieved of his duties, whatever that may look like. Daryl Dickey, who's one hell of an offensive coach. And it should be noted that he didn't call plays, right? So he is not being fired for calling, the offense and all this. What Jimbo is going to do is going to bring in an offensive coordinator. For the first time ever, Jimbo has always called plays. Uh, Ever since at Florida State to now at A&M, he's always called the plays. And so it's been hard for him to relinquish that. But over the course of last year and this year, he realizes that something's got to change.
So the
So,
boot, so the boosters told him, dude, this is what's gonna happen.
well, I think everybody, like, he knows what fans, reporters ask him. So I don't know. Boosters probably know too. It's everybody. It ain't just no one person. So, but he did come to this realization, and this is
Yeah,
gonna
the
do
boosters helped him come to
wonders.
that realization.
But I mean, it's gonna, it's gonna benefit A&M's offense. It's gonna benefit recruiting, and he's gonna do it pretty quick. Like by our next taping, he may have his OC already. So, just know that. And from the names I've heard, it'll be a very, very good hire. Um, Also, another hire, Matt Rule took the Nebraska job. Matt Rule got
Yeah, I
fired
did see
from
that. I
Carolina.
did see that.
Hmm
What you think about that?
Oh, I knew he was gonna land on his feet, and I knew he was gonna be back in college.
Yeah.
Nebraska is not the Nebraska of old. And I think I heard something that said the reason they are not as good as they used to be is because they can't get the recruits in like they used to. Something happened, and now something happened with their academics or something.
Well, but these
They're
young
not
guys,
able to get the recruits in that they used
look,
to.
these
So,
young guys don't want to go to Nebraska, bro.
well,
They want to go
that's
to
one thing, but I'm just saying, like, they didn't want to go back then, but they did. You know,
look.
I'm just saying.
What rule? Let me tell you what Rule's gonna do. Right?
Yeah.
He's gonna get some of these urban kids in Philadelphia and Jersey. He's gonna because he's got that pipeline in Philly. He was there for
hmm
to build.
At
So he's
Temple.
gonna
hmm
he's gonna go get some
or
of those
Rutgers.
guys and bring some of those guys, those especially those skilled guys that maybe are good enough, but are not gonna go to top 10, 12, 15 teams. But he's gonna
I
go
feel
and grab those guys and steal those guys from Rutgers, right?
It's gonna be tough sledding.
Temple. He's gonna get some of those type of guys.
No, I feel that. I know it's gonna be tough sledding, but we'll see. We'll see. And the last one, man. Luke Fickle, man. Luke Fickle left Cincinnati and he ended up at Wisconsin. So I have a former teammate that played. He played with me. He was a safety, and I was a safety. He coached at Cincinnati with Fickle for like 3 years, maybe 2 years. He's at Ohio State now. He left Cincinnati and went to Ohio State like last year. So but what do you think about that move, man? Any thoughts on it at all? I mean, I like Luke Fickle as a coach, man. He did wonders at Cincinnati.
So wait a minute, he's going from where to where?
I mean, you listen, man. You like you're on that couch about to fall asleep.
Yeah, it's
Sit
getting late.
sit up, sit up, man. He's
Yes,
uh
sir.
he's going from Cincinnati to Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, that's everybody cuts their teeth in Cincinnati because of the conference, and then
Hmm.
normally they do pretty well
Yeah,
in that conference, and then it's a stepping stone to the next big conference.
for sure, for sure,
So I mean, he ain't the first person that's done that. It's been about 4 or 5 coaches that have done that, going from Cincinnati to a nice sized job.
for sure.
Boise State used to be that. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
you go to Boise State, and dang, if you went out there, man, if you went into an urban area or a top 30 city, you should be able to generate some activity. So
Absolutely.
he going to the big boy spot. I mean, because the big was that the old Big Ten.
Yeah, yeah. That's the Big Ten for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. You're
So
gonna have
he's
to
going
compete with
into a
Michigan, Ohio State, Penn
yeah.
State,
He's going to play. He's going to play the big
Minnesota.
boys. Yeah,
Absolutely.
he's going to play the big boys.
Illinois is good too.
Oh yeah, well
Brett Bielema's over there.
yeah,
He's
they got
doing
the
real
old
good.
Wisconsin coach that was
They got the old Wisconsin coach. Yep,
yeah that was
yep,
jamming
yep.
people up.
Brett Bielema, he's a
So
big
he
boy.
just moved his zip code back into the Big
Dog,
Ten,
I
and
saw him at coaching school one time. I stood next to that boy. That boy huge.
Beamer.
Yeah, Bielema. Yeah,
Believer.
yeah. I
Yeah,
said,
you
no.
could tell he was an old offensive lineman, huh?
Mm-hmm. You could tell.
But he can recruit, man.
Yeah,
He can
yeah.
recruit. He's got the charisma to recruit these guys.
Right,
I mean,
right.
who's going to Wisconsin, man? No disrespect. What I'm saying is
Offensive
that
lineman.
no, yeah, no. But I'm saying that they've been very successful through
Hmm.
Barry Alvarez, through Beamer,
Yeah,
right? Now they've
yeah.
taken a step back a little bit, but I think they mostly take a step back a little bit because if you get a good defense that can stop the run, they've never been a passing team.
Right, right.
They've been a running team. They'll run 185 yards on you in
Yeah.
ball control and get ahead, and you can't get. But if you got a good defense that can stop the run,
Uh-huh.
they never really had. Nobody can throw for like 280 in college with 2 or 3
Right,
touchdowns.
right, right.
They
All right,
running
man.
back, they running backs get 22, 23 touchdowns, in a season.
Yeah, yeah. All right, big dog. Trying to wrap it up, man. Let me get a shout out to my alma mater, WAC champions, Coach Carthel and Stephen F. Austin State Lumberjacks, baby. Congratulations. Axum, Axum, baby. WAC champions, first conference title since 2010. Way to
Wow.
go. Way to go, SFA.
Football.
Yes.
So
No, golf.
when did they move to the WAC?
Uh, it's a different WAC. It's not the WAC with Hawaii and San Jose first. It's not that WAC. It's a different WAC.
Oh,
It's a
it's
WAC
WAC
around.
two.
It's
It's
it
WAC. It's WAC two, huh?
WAC 2.0.
Well,
It's a,
who's
it's an
who's in the
FCS WAC.
okay? Who's in that? Give me some names. Give me a few.
I think uh McNeese
Give me like the
State
biggest
might
name,
be.
huh?
McNeese State might be still in the WAC. It's still
Okay.
with us. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm
So it's
saying?
more regional Texas WAC
Mm-hmm.
and all
And
over the
Louisiana,
place.
Texas, Louisiana still. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I
Yeah.
mean, the name brings on,
Thoughts of the old WAC. Yeah, yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Well, I mean, and that's good for them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, it's not that whack, so but it's a
No,
conference
no, but
title.
but I'm saying that unless you really watch and you think it's that whack. You remember when the whack was whack? They was terrible. But then after a while, it wasn't Boise
Mhm.
State and some of those schools in the whack before they moved
Possibly,
around.
possibly,
Yeah,
possibly.
yeah. I think some of those teams started winning.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. Congratulations.
Yeah, man, appreciate it, brother. And congratulations on your guys making it to the celebration bowl. And
Yes.
you
I'll
know,
be there, bro. Got my,
yeah,
got my I got my $83 round trip plane ticket already to
already,
Atlanta.
man. Yeah, yeah. And I'll be watching on TV. Hey, good deal, man. Until next time. We'll talk next week, brother.
All right. Hey, take it easy out there, sports fans.
Yes, sir.